Good evening and welcome, and thank you for joining us tonight. I am Sheila Dankers. I am an elementary literacy instructional coach for Lake Worth ISD, and I'm going to talk to you tonight about how you can support your children in becoming strong readers as a parent. First, I want to just quickly go over our district virtual etiquette. Please just stay muted until we do questions at the end. The last 5 minutes we'll have questions, and keep your camera on during the session. Use the chat feature to ask questions at the those last 5 minutes, or you can raise your hand. Stay on topic when we're discussing at the end. Please be understanding if we have any technical difficulty, and please be present. Be aware of your appearance. Not sure why that one is there, but and find a strong internet connection if possible. So first of all, reading is important. Of course, we know that. It's important not only for children, but also as adults. So I just wanted to read this quote by Laura Bush. As parents, the most important thing we can do is read to our children early and often. Reading is the path to success in school and life. When children learn to love books, they learn to love learning. And of course, as a parent, you are your child's first teacher. So you are super important. From the time they start trying to talk and walk, and you're teaching them to ride their bikes and brush their teeth and everything else. So you have the biggest influence on your child, more than anyone. So you are important. Parental involvement in their child's reading is the most important predictor of a child's language and success as a beginning reader. That is from research. So if you want to raise a reader, you need to be a reader. So even if reading is not your thing, you want your children to see you reading for pleasure, reading for different purposes, like reading recipes or directions for doing something. Because research shows that parents who promote the view that reading is a valuable and worthwhile activity have children who are motivated to read for pleasure. And the more they read, the better, stronger readers they become. So the top 3 ways that you can support your child in becoming a strong reader, and this is pretty much at just about any age, and we're talking mostly elementary, like pre-K through 5th grade, but this is also important for your babies and your toddlers and preschool children. So number 1, talk often with your child. Number 2, read to and with your child often. And number 3, support what your child is learning at school. So I wanted to show you, we're going to talk a little bit more about each of those 3 things, and wanted to show you a cute video. You may have seen this on the news a few years ago, but this just kind of shows how a parent can impact their child's language development. And so even from when they're a baby.
Did you understand it though? No. Okay. All right. Huh? Oh no, not this one. This is the grand finale of it. Yeah, that's the last one. That's what I was wondering. I don't know what they're gonna do next season because they did some stuff this time. Exactly what I was thinking. Oh yeah. Right. Don't bring that again. You know what I'm saying? Don't do the same stuff. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I was thinking that. Yeah. Yeah. Like go somewhere else with that, but don't break it here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's what I said. And then it was like, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, what in the world? But don't do that here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Really? I thought the same thing. We think a lot alike, huh? Oh, that's crazy. Right.
I love that video.
Did
Okay,
you
let's
understand it though?
move on. The reason I wanted to show you that is just because you can see how that parent was mimicking their child, and then the child was mimicking the parent. And that's just kind of how those language skills start developing. And so even it's important when they're babies to talk to them as much as possible. And of course, as they get older, to continue doing that. So with your child, talk to them as much as possible, ask them questions, ask him or her to tell stories, have conversations about whatever they're doing or what you're doing together, like when you go to the grocery store or you see an animal, a new animal, even when you're watching TV, like if you're watching, especially like a documentary or something like that. So help them learn about the world. And then also listen to and answer your child's questions. I know sometimes we're busy, and I can understand that because I'm a parent too. My children are older now, but just try to take the time to talk to them and listen to them as much as possible. And so this is just a tip from Strive for 5 to have at least 5 daily conversations with your children. I'm sure you have probably more than that, but to observe your child and note what he or she is doing, try to make comments as well as asking questions, listen and give them time to respond, and incorporate interactions into your child's routine. Like if they're playing in the bathtub, talk to them about whatever, like the water or the bubbles. And then when you're going places and doing activities together. So the second big one way to support your child as a reader is to read to them and with them often. So of course we want to read aloud from the time they're babies, or some people even read to them before they're born. And but continue doing that as your children get older, because that even when they learn to read on their own, you can still help them learn vocabulary and build fluency and have a good attitude toward reading by reading with them. I know my own son, he was a good reader, but he was a little bit reluctant because he had a hard time finding books that he was interested in around 3rd and 4th grade. And I was trying to get him to read chapter books. So what I would do is I would find a series that I think he would like, and one that I like too, because you want them to know that you enjoy reading as well. And because that will make an impact. And then if you read that first chapter book, maybe the second one of the series, or by a favorite author, then that your child will probably want to read more of those books. So you can do the same thing with picture books by a favorite author or a series of picture books, just to kind of get them started reading some of finding things that they're interested in reading. And you want to make it a positive experience. So not a time that you're rushed, a time that you're super tired. And if things aren't going well, maybe try it again the next day, because we want to build positive feelings about reading. And you don't have to be a teacher to help your child comprehend. You can just have conversations about the books, talk about the things in the books. This is a protocol that you can use once your child starts reading and you want to just kind of help them grow as a reader. It's called Dyad Reading, which is a kind of paired reading. And it's pretty simple. You share one book, you sit side by side, you follow along with the text as you read with one smooth finger, and you both read. So it needs to be a book about your child's level. And you keep your eyes on the words, don't go too fast or slow, and talk about the unknown words in text and just try to have fun with it. And that's a great activity for the summer. So the third major way that you can support your child in becoming a strong reader is to support what they are learning at school. Number one, encourage your child to read, especially during the summer, but during the school year too, because that is a good time to kind of close those gaps. If your child has gotten a little bit behind with COVID, it's a really good time in the summertime to have them reading. And so you'll have to help them find books, and we'll talk about that too in a few minutes. Also, listen to your child read. Don't make it work, make it fun, enjoyable. And just remember that every child learns to read at a personal pace, and it's different for all children. So I know sometimes, like if your child needs to read for their homework, I've been a parent of young children before, and maybe they're struggling, and you might feel a little impatient. So that's a time to just go ahead and put the book away or read it to your child and write a quick note to your child's teacher and tell them that, this book was a little too hard. So, so however you want to handle that, but you don't want to make it a frustrating experience. And then you can ask your child's teacher how you can help them practice at home. So this is really kind of for older children. And I'm not going to read all of this to you, but I have this on the slide, and the slides will be, I'm going to give you the link to the slides, plus they're going to be on the district webpage. So, but you want to help your child become a critical reader and develop empathy. And one way to do that is when they get to be about in second grade, maybe third grade, you can start reading chapter books to them. And y'all can have like a book club, and you can talk about the plots, and you want to find some good quality books. And I do have some recommendations for you. And to help them develop empathy, you want to have them think about the characters and put themselves into the minds of those characters and think about the conflict and what they would do in that situation, or maybe why that character is doing what they're doing. And so there are some other suggestions here, like asking open-ended questions. So doing things like this and having your child reflect on what they read will help them become a critical reader. And that's what we're really going for. So to find books for your child to read, here are a few suggestions. Choose books, authors, and series that you and your child will enjoy. It's important that you enjoy the books too, because if you don't enjoy them, your child probably won't either. So find ones that you will both enjoy when you're reading together. And then when your child is reading books on their own, you can also help them find books they will enjoy based on their interest. For example, I taught third grade for a long time, and a lot of my little boys were kind of reluctant readers. So I would help them find series that they enjoyed, like the Time Warp Trio or Sideways Stories from Wayside School, and they would read all of those. And also I would ask them, okay, what kind of things are you interested in? And like if they were interested in baseball, we would find books about baseball. We also want to expand your child's world through reading books. So if you read nonfiction books, that helps build background knowledge that will help them in school. And also just let them learn about the world, and try to choose diverse books so that they can learn about diversity. And that will help them as adults as well. So you can use the library to find books, of course. You can get a card digitally without even having to go into the library and have digital books, or you can go in and check out books. And I think they are having a summer reading program. So I have the information there for you that you can contact the library and you can find out more about that. And I believe someone from the library also did a presentation tonight, and that will probably be recorded and on our district webpage. So you can go back and look at that if you want to. You can also use the online program Epic and create a free account, and your child can read digital books on Epic. They have probably been doing that at school this year, so they're probably pros at that. I'm not going to read through all of this, but this is a 5-finger check. It's a way to help your child find just right books. Basically, you have them open the book to the middle, choose a page that's full of words, and read that page out loud. And as long as they don't get to 4 or 5, then that book is okay for them to read themselves. If they get to 4 or 5 or more, well, actually, if they get to 5, just go ahead and have them stop reading. But if they get to 4 or 5, you can just read the book to them. But that's just a way to help them find books that are about their level. So I put together a list of recommended books from my own experience as a teacher and as a parent. And I also looked at some other lists and chose some that I know. And there's also another article here, 30 unforgettable books every parent should read their kids before they grow up. So you might want to take a look at those. And then I also am providing some different summer reading challenge PDFs that you can print. One is kind of like the first one's kind of like a bingo where they read in different places, they read different kinds of books. The second one is reading different genres. The third one is about trying to read as many books as you can. Like, y'all can set a goal. It doesn't have to be 100 books, but you can set a goal for how many books they're going to read over the summer. 100 is a lot. And then there's also a Spanish summer reading challenge at the bottom. So there are many places online where you can find more information about helping your child become a strong reader. So I actually put some of them on here. There's some great articles and resources that you can look at if you want to learn more about it. And we're to the part for the questions. And so if you have any questions, you can, let's see, I'm not sure. Ms. Paris, can you see if, let's see if I can just unmute everybody. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. Okay. Ms. Velasquez, do you have any questions?
Oh, I'm so sorry, Ms. Dankers. I accidentally muted you. I was trying to fix the settings to where she could unmute herself. So
yes, I can do that now. Thank you.
Ms. Dankers, you'll have to unmute yourself. I'm sorry, I put you on mute.
So my only question is, we have 3 children and we've done followed all the instructions that you've just talked about and all your great advice to
That's
the
awesome.
T. To the T. The only difference is that my 2 older children love to read, especially our middle child. She can read books, stacks of books all the time. Our younger child is not too much interested, and she's now in middle school. Any recommendations at that age?
Okay, so for middle school, I did not teach middle school, but I did have middle school children. So I think it's kind of the same thing that I was just telling you. It's just helping them find books that they might be interested in. So whether it's at the library, the bookstore, or on some kind of digital platform, if you can just help your child find books, or maybe you could maybe you could start like a summer book club where y'all read a book together and just make it a thing where you can just tell her it's just for us. No one else gets to participate. Something like that. Or maybe she might have a friend. Is it a girl? Did you say it's a girl?
Yes.
So maybe she might have a friend that she wants to do a book club with, and they could get on Zoom, or they could, I don't know if you're doing anything in person or not, but they could talk about their books. And maybe finding some books that are have movies, made about the books, and y'all could read the book and watch the movie and just make it a girls' night thing or something. But I think those are some good suggestions. What about you, Miss Paris? Do you have any suggestions for her?
I do not, but I really, really love your ideas. If you can find one of her classmates that she's good friends with, that you're familiar with their mothers, maybe y'all can make it like a tea party, or, like Miss Dankers was saying, a book club where you can get together and talk about the book, maybe read like a chapter a week, and set a designated time to talk about the book. And if it's a book that has been turned into a film, that would be really neat to go and compare. I remember the first time I ever read a book and then watched the movie. It was just so different, and I loved being able to find those differences, and I wish that I had somebody to talk about it with. So I think that would be great to have like your mother to talk about that with.
And if you can think of any books that you really enjoyed at that age, maybe you could talk to her about that and say, I really like this book when I was about your age, and I'd really like for you to read it with me. And I think it would be a really great experience for us. But I think mainly it's just finding books that she would enjoy. And you can talk to her at that age. She's old enough to know that the more you read, the better you become. And so if she is thinking about going to college, you can talk to her about how when you're in college, you have to read to learn just about everything. And so it's a really good idea to read as much as you can to build to grow your reading level. And so I think she could probably understand that. So you can just kind of talk to her about that too, about how it's going to help her in high school and in college. I know my daughter, she went to law school, and I tried to read some of her law books, and without having a lot of background knowledge in some of it, that was pretty difficult for me. So I just know that the more you read, the better you become, and then it's just going to help you all through life. And just like some of the times that you have to read directions to something to build something, oh my goodness, that's hard. So just talk to her about the different ways she's going to use it as an adult, and maybe that will motivate her a little bit. But I think maybe all the screen time may discourage kids from reading as much now. And so maybe y'all could make it a thing where on, I don't know, Thursday evening y'all read or something. But your child a lot better than I do, but I will keep thinking about it. And if you will put your number in the chat, if I think of anything else, I will, or put your email if you want to in the chat. If I think of any other ways, I'll let you know. Okay. I might ask Miss Warren. She's the middle school instructional coach, and she might have some great ideas for middle school. I know it's a little bit harder to motivate middle school students than it is elementary students. So I understand that. But I really appreciate you joining us tonight, Ms. Velasquez. Did you have any other questions for us before we go?
No, thank you. I think that you've given us a lot of great information, and we'll try some of your great ideas. I will go ahead and enter my email address so you can send me anything else if you find it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And I hope you have a great evening. And if you're interested in any of the other sessions that, like I know there were some others while we were doing this one, I think they'll be on the district webpage. The recordings are going to be on there. And then we have more, I think every week for the next several weeks. So But we just really appreciate you for joining us tonight. And I'll let you go and have a good evening.
Thank you for your time. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So